California, at least 13 people were arrested as hundreds blocked traffic on 2 major highways, waving Mexican flags and burning a giant effigy of Donald Trump. Police fired rubber bullets, and pepper spray at hundreds of protesters after the crowds took over major intersections.
Load up, load up, load up, rubber bullets.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake, falling, 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 falling.
Fraud, homophobia, sexual assault, white supremacy.
In terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And a will to risk to make things better and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities.
White privilege.
Load up, rubber bullets.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake.
Here in New York, as many as 10,000 people surged through the streets and surrounded the barricaded-off Trump Tower where Donald Trump lives.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake.
We reject the president-elect. Load up, rubber bullets.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake.
I think it speaks to the disenfranchisement of the people that someone like him could be seen as offering anything to the masses.
Load up, rubber bullets.
Little snowflake falling from the sky.
What about gay people? Trump has vowed to protect the LGBT community from a fanatical ideology that represents its biggest threat, radical Islam.
As your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
Racist, sexist, anti-gay. Load up, rubber bullets.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake, falling, 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 falling.
He is a racist.
Under Obama, more black people are living below the poverty line. The number of African Americans on food stamps has increased 58% under Obama.
On every leading economic issue, on the major economic issues, black Americans have lost ground in every one of those leading categories. So for the last 10 years, it's not been good for black folks.
Is this how the left helps black communities? By making them poorer and more dependent on government. Race relations are at their worst in decades. 8 years of Obama has been devastating for the black community.
He is a sexist. He is a neo-Nazi.
Well, we don't understand why you called in the National Guard.
Falling on my nose.
Not my president. He is a lying ass.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake,
Fake ass.
little snowflake falling from the sky.
Dumb ass son of a bitch.
Load up, rubber bullets.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake, falling, 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 falling.
That's not my president! That's not my president! Load up, rubber bullets.
Falling in my hand.
Thank you for taking America back 60 years of progress.
Falling on my head.
You just voted in a Nazi fascist.
Falling on my nose. Falling in my hand. Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake.
What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do?
Live from the Nightside Radio studios,
this is the J.J. McCartney Show.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Coming to you from Nebraska by way of Alaska. Here's J.J. McCartney.
All right, thank you, Marcus, and welcome everybody. Hello there. It's the J.J. McCartney Show on what is known as Wacky Wednesday. And we are here with IQ Al Rassooli in the house. We're going to talk about everything that's happening. Oh, gosh. Huge news today. The tax cuts are now officially passed by the House and the Senate. And on the president's desk for his signature, Merry Christmas, America. Lots to cover today with IQ Al Rassooli, and it's coming up next. All right, welcome everybody, and good to have you with us. Hello, IQ. IQ, can you hear me? Okay. Lovely. It's always something, isn't it? Always something. You know, we had everything all set up. I even had him on the line, and somehow we lost him. Do not ask me how. This is getting beyond stupid. It really, really is. I am so sick and tired of fighting Skype. I really am. If I had a better way to do this, believe me, I would. But there's IQ. He's on the line. I'm adding him to the call for the second time in 5 minutes. Hello, IQ. Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh, good Lord. You know what I'm going to do? I'm about ready to take this one computer and throw it out the window. For all the good it does me. I see myself, my audio levels are there. IQ, if you can't hear me, it's not me. You either don't have a button pushed correctly or something, but it's definitely not us. I mean, we are sending the audio just fine from our vantage point. And I really, you know, I don't need this kind of aggravation. I really don't. I'm looking right now at Skype, and you know, it's for whatever reason, IQ is not hearing me. I can't explain it. I really can't. Just makes no sense whatsoever, and I'm just about ready to honestly take this thing and chuck it. Oh, just forget it. Okay? IQ, I'll call you back in a couple of minutes. If you can't hear me, then there's no sense in prolonging this agony. So what we're going to do is we're going to just hang everything up here. I'm going to reboot this computer for the second time in as many weeks. And if I sound pissed, it's because I'm pissed. All right? And, yeah, this stupid Windows computer is it's not going to let me shut down without trying to install updates. And it's just this is baloney. I mean, it really is. I'm sick and tired of this crap. I'm as sick of this as I can possibly be. It's just it's driving me nuts. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to hang up Skype. You folks out there, I really apologize. This is not what I intended to do with the first part of today's broadcast. But, you know, it's just, I am sick and tired of Windows. I am going to find a Mac, and I'm going to put my telephone system on a Mac. And, no, I'm not kidding. I'm so sick and tired of this nonsense. I'm gonna put my entire phone system on a Mac because Bill Gates, you suck. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Bill Gates sucks. There, I said it out loud. Now let's see if IQ can hear us now.
Hello?
IQ, can you hear me?
Hello?
Nope. Nope. Not working. You know, honestly, folks, I am, seriously, Bill Gates, you can have your Windows 10 and shove it. All right? First they say, well, no, you got to update. You have to update. It's free. It's a free upgrade. So they say, no, you have to update. You have to update. You have to update. Well, I don't want to update anymore. I don't want to do crap with Bill Gates anymore. I really don't. I am sick as I can be of this inferior product being forced on people. I mean, it's nonsense. It is utter nonsense. It's just stupid. And I'm not gonna do it anymore. Maybe I sound a little pissed today. I'm sorry. I've gone way out of my way this week. You have no idea what I've done. Trying to upgrade our systems here so that we bring you a better show. Okay? Seriously, if you only knew what I've done this week, if you only had an idea of what I have done this week alone to make a better broadcast for everybody. And in return, what do we get? We get nonsense. I mean, it's absolute nonsense. Hang on, IQ. I'm replying to your email right now. Please call the number. Make sure that it's okay. I can't even remember my own damn number. That's how. Okay. Okay. We're going to try that. Now, before I send that, let me make sure I'm all hooked up again. Would sure hate to have a problem. That would be just awful if we had a problem. Do I sound cynical? Am I sounding a little bit on the cynical side? I'm sorry. But if you've been through as much with this crap as I have, it gets old. It really does. Now, I'm going to quit Skype because it's worthless today. I'm going to go up here, make a few tweaks. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I really do appreciate it. I don't get a chance to tell you guys that enough. Well, maybe this is the perfect opportunity for me to tell you how much we appreciate you and all that you do. Okay, there's that. Okay. There's that. Close that. Open that. And then, with any luck, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is, how many people do you know that could completely re-engineer their whole thing on the fly and at no time, this is the fun part, at no time did my butt leave the chair. So that's pretty amazing. I'm sending the message to IQ now to call the regular number. We'll go that route this time around. And with any luck, we'll hear his shining voice, and he'll be able to hear us, which is kind of the whole point. Telecommunications is a two-way street. So IQ, try that other number, please. We'll make this work one way or another. Although right now I'm mad enough to spit nails right now. I really am. Now, I know it's not dignified to be angry or anything, but I expect this stuff to work. I really do. And when it doesn't work, it just pisses me right off. Okay? So we're going to make this work one way or another. I sent him the email, sent him the number. Hopefully he's checked his email. Hopefully he'll be calling me right back on that number, and life will be good. So as soon as he does, well, we'll get right on with it. We'll talk a bit today about the tax cuts. We'll also talk about the misperceptions that some people have about who is affected by these tax cuts, and misperceptions about what the middle class really is. And the reason we'll do this is because there is some misperception out there. Now, IQ, please check your email. Just one more time, check your email and then call the number. Yes, and by the way, our toll-free number, which is open to you and anybody else that wants to call in today, is 855-853-5227. That's 855-853-5227. Toll-free in the United States. IQ, come on. Come on, jump on board. Really. We would love to hear from you, IQ. You know what? This is gonna make me sound even more cynical. But I really was looking forward to the show today. Absolutely was. I sent emails to. I sent an email to IQ this morning, just making sure he knew that I'm looking forward to the show today and chatting with him. And so maybe, just maybe, there's a chance we'll actually make that happen. I get so, yeah, here we go. IQ, can you hear me? Hello? Oh, boy. Okay, hang on, folks. IQ, can you hear me? Okay, keep typing. That'll work. We'll just listen to IQ type for the rest of the day. That sounds good. All right. Audio, okay. That looks good. I opened the recording devices, and I see I've got audio there. But this shit is not working. And I'm just, honest to God, folks. I apologize, but this kind of stuff, there's no way. I mean, we can test to make sure that there's audio there, but I don't have any way of testing this until we actually get the goddamn thing going. And I'm sorry. Yes, I'm mad. You're darn right I'm mad. Because this has been, seriously, this has been a weekly wrestling match, and it's not supposed to be this hard. It really isn't supposed to be this difficult. And yet, week after week, I sit here and I swear at this stuff. And honestly, until this computer restarts, I have, as a matter of fact, here, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to hold down the old button, shut the thing off, hard shut off. There we go. And we'll see if it just miraculously comes back to life when I turn it back on. Every single week. And it's like, oh, I'll just reboot. Oh, yeah, good luck with that. Oh, you're just going to reboot. You know how long that's going to take? Windows says, we're updating. We're not giving you a choice. So I don't have anything to say except Windows can kiss my butt. I'm just sick and tired of it. Okay, now it's rebooting. We'll give this another shot. But I'm not going to make you listen to any more of my temper tantrum. I'm sorry about that. Really, I am. But, I furnish this studio with absolute state-of-the-art systems. And I'd go back to Dixie cups and a string. It would be more reliable than this. We're going to take a quick break. Please enjoy the intermission. We'll be right back.
The J.J. McCartney Show.
Hey, everybody. J.J. McCartney here. It's not very often that I get excited about a product, but I am sure excited about this one. I'm talking, of course, about MyPillow.com. These pillows are made in the USA. They come with a 60-day comfort guarantee and a 10-year warranty. They are machine washable and dryable. They come with a patented interlocking fill. It keeps you cool at night, and it will not go flat. Go to MyPillow.com. Click the Radio Listeners Special tab and use promo code JJMC to get 2 premium king or queen size pillows and 2 additional go anywhere travel pillows for one special price and free shipping. That's mypillow.com, promo code JJMC, or call 800-953-6613. That's 800-953-6613. MyPillow.com. Promo code JJMC.
I never said, nor would I ever say, that we are giving people space to destroy our city. We also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. I never said, nor would I ever say, that we are giving people space to destroy our city. Okay! So my words should not be twisted. We also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. What? I never said, nor would I ever say, that we are giving people space to destroy our city. Okay! We also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. What? 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 I never said, nor would I ever say, that we are giving people space to destroy our city. We also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well.
We were rolling down this road in
Anbar Province.
All of a sudden
There's a huge explosion.
We knew right away.
It was an IED.
Then we started taking sniper fire
and RPGs from the hills.
Today's servicewomen face the same combat dangers as men.
It's pretty amazing.
We made it out alive.
But at home, women veterans face different challenges. DAV understands this and fights to get women veterans the health, disability, and financial benefits they were promised. Visit DAV.org for free help.
JJMcCartney.com.
Someday there'll be a cure. Someday we won't lose the people we love. But when is someday? Someday is today. Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, hundreds of thousands diagnosed with blood cancer are today living a normal life. We're making cures happen. Join us. Call 888-HELP-LLS or go to lls.org. Help us reach today sooner.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, we're back. Yeah, at least that I know works. Do I sound cynical? I don't know. You be the judge. Am I a cynic? Sometimes yes. Sometimes no. But you know what? The reason I am very passionate about what I do. And when I get anything but the performance I expect out of everything that I've got in this system, then you can bet your bottom dollar it pisses me off when it doesn't work. And the only time it doesn't work, of course, is when I need it to. And I am, to the point now where, seriously, this, to me, if I could build a bonfire right now and burn this stupid computer to a crisp, I think I would. And I know everybody out there understands, but the thing is, this doesn't happen. And what I expect is performance. Nothing else matters but performance. That's what I expect. And when I don't get performance, which by the way I pay for, everybody pays for performance. It's the right to expect the things that you rely on every day to work. And, and now I'm to the point where, if there's anybody left listening today, it'd be a damn miracle. You people are real troopers if you're still there. And I do. I appreciate you there more than I can say. But what angers me so much is the manner with which, software companies end up screwing with my product. And that's never acceptable, ever. And yet, week after week, they do it. And why do you suppose they do it? Who knows? I have no way of telling. And I'm going to give this one more try. We're going to give IQ another buzz on Skype and see what happens. God willing, he'll be there. IQ, are you there?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
For Christ's sake. You know,
hello?
I see audio on my end, and he doesn't see it on his. I don't know whether he's got a button that is not pushed. I really don't know. But there's got to be a better way. There really does. There must be a better way. It is maddening. Literally, it's maddening. And the thing is, it's Skype that's screwing up. There we go. Hello, 121212. Ah! For whatever reason, Skype is just mucking this entire process up. And you know, at this point, what the hell? We'll just do this the old-fashioned way. We're going to answer the call, add him to the call, and hello, IQ, can you hear me? Can you hear me, IQ? You know, I just don't know what in the world else I can do. It's I'm sitting here looking at the audio. I'm actually watching the meters bounce back and forth, so I know that there's audio there. That much we know. But for whatever reason, IQ's not hearing it, and this would be. I mean, this is not funny, but I mean, Skype has turned into a real joke. Within the course of about, I'd say 10 weeks or so, this has gone from being a reliable system to being something that, honestly, I'm gonna have to. I'm really contemplating, as best I can. I'm really contemplating dumping Skype and going with something else, because there's really no point in continuing to use this if this is what we're going to get. And that is
welcome back, host. Have a great show.
Oh, hey, thanks, appreciate that. We know I can hear her anyway. This is. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm embarrassed, because I haven't done anything wrong here. But to see such a ridiculous problem rear its head during the show, I have no patience left. None. I have no patience left. And, IQ, if you want to call again, go ahead. I mean, we'd love to have you on the show. But it's, please try the number again. But I'm a patient man. Okay? And I believe that this is going to work. I really do. I believe this is going to work. I have faith that this is going to work. I really do. I have all the faith in the world that this is going to work. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll just keep on trying and trying and trying. That's all we can do. And so we try. We try some more. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we've lost only the time, as somebody once said. So let's see how things go. And we'll go from there. Tax cuts. Hooray, we have tax cuts. Rah, rah, rah. America, There's a lot of misperception out there with regard to tax cuts that I want to tell you about. The reason I want to tell you about this is because there's a lot of ignorance. Simply a lot of ignorance with regard to the tax cuts. And I think that sometimes people get it wrong. And in the case, here, well, let me give you an example. I get this message from a guy that texted me like a year ago, actually a year and a half ago, slamming me because I was openly supporting Trump. And then he says that he's frustrated. He says they said Trump claims it is a tax cut for all of the middle class, and then said it will not affect everyone the same way. He said one of the examples was a single homeowner who makes $500,000 a year. He says, I was like, how does that relate to your statement about middle class in any way? And this is the misperception. This is the misperception. That misperception. Let me see if we got IQ on the line now. IQ, can you hear me? Hello, IQ. I don't know what's going on, but it's not my system. I can hear him in the background, and I can see my audio going out on the phone system. So I'm just beyond. You know what? Screw it. We're not going to do it today. That's it. We're not, no show for IQ today. I'm sorry, but we can't do this without a working phone system. I am convinced my phone system is working fine. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. I mean, yesterday it was working fine when Jen called in. And you know what? I don't have my phone with me, or I'd call myself just to verify it's working. Somebody out there, please call the toll-free number, 855-853-5227. I just want to verify that my system is working, okay? And that's all we can do. So if somebody wants to call the toll-free number at 855-853-5227, I just want to verify that you can hear me when you call in, all right? 855-853-5227. Somebody please help us out. Just help us make sure, verify that our systems are working fine. Okay? I know you're all busy, wrapping presents, shopping, on the go. I know. But at least help us make sure that this problem is not my problem. 855-853-5227. I'll even pay for the phone call. That's how nice a guy I am. We're already half hour into the show. As I was explaining, I'm just gonna keep waiting until somebody calls in. I mean, if it's not too much trouble, would one of you mind? There you go. There's Charlotte. It's good to have you with us, Charlotte. Can you hear me? Charlotte, my dear, can you hear me? Oh, you got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, well, I guess that answers the question. I can hear in the background she's listening to the show, but she can't hear me. So, at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say screw it. I really am. I have nothing more to give in this department. I really don't. I'm just not going to try. It's not worth it. It's not worth the stress today. I'm not going to spend my energy chasing some bug when everything yesterday was working fine. Everybody remembers yesterday, right? Just 24 short hours ago when everything is the exact same as it was then. And yet there's, nothing happening on the phone system. And so You know, in the interest of good radio, we're going to go ahead and switch to some other things, and I'm going to get back to my point I was making. So I was chatting with this guy, and he's asking me, what in the world does somebody that owns one home and makes $500,000 a year, how does that affect the middle class? And I said, well, it is all a matter of perception. Now, if you live in New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco, you know, when I'm talking about Los Angeles, I'm talking, you know, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, Burbank. If you live in those areas, you know, Santa Barbara, where prices are, you know, property values, home prices are sky high. And if somebody lives in that area and owns a single-family home and they earn $500,000 a year, they are not living high on the hog. In fact, you factor in inflation, the devaluing of the currency, it's not even equivalent of what a $75,000 salary was in the early 1980s. And here's the thing, okay? If you own a home that costs $500,000 or more, which is not at all out of the realm of possibility in those areas I just mentioned. As a matter of fact, $500,000 would probably be getting off cheap if you live in San Francisco. And so you can figure your average mortgage payment is going to be north of $3,500 a month. Okay, now $3,500 a month works out to be how much? Well, let's see, that's $36,000 plus another $6,000. That's $42,000 a year just in mortgage payments. And then you look at the property taxes in some of these areas, between property taxes and luxury taxes, that run close to $60,000 a year. In other words, your tax payments cost more than your mortgage. And then you figure these people are in the tax bracket where the federal government is taking 39% of what they earn right off the top. And then state income tax in some areas is as high as 25% or more. Now, figure that out, folks. That's 64% of their earnings every year. What's 64% of 500,000? 64% of 500,000. Well, believe it or not, 64% of 500,000. Well, you know, 6 times 5, that's 3. Carry that. You are talking in the neighborhood of taking home, after you pay your taxes, $175,000 a year. Okay? That's after taxes. Now take away those mortgage payments, and that leaves you with $133,000 a year. Now take away that property tax, that leaves you with $73,000 a year. Okay? Now what does that leave? $73,000 a year. Assuming that this person works hard. Assuming all of that. Then you figure in living expenses, utilities, credit card debts, automobile payments, groceries, tuition if this individual has kids in college. Well, then that paints a much different picture now, doesn't it? And then he comes back and says, yes, but people in those cities live on a fraction of that income without public assistance. So it would still be a higher than average income. Now, you know what? You want to sit here and argue and split hairs? Fine. But, you know, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. You know, don't tell me we don't know what we know. I know exactly what I know. And what I know is that the cost of living in the big cities in America, it's like an equalizer, because the people that earn the big bucks pay through the nose in taxes. When you compare that to what people on the low end of the income scale pay, And you tell me, I mean, what's fair? What is it that you think is fair for somebody to pay into a system where everything that they earn is taxed at a ridiculously high rate? I mean, you tell me. How is it fair that somebody that works hard enough that they're earning that kind of money, which means that they must be worth it to their employers? You tell me, how is it fair that those people end up paying through the nose for everything that they make, and then the people just below them are getting all the breaks? You know, a tax cut only affects people who pay taxes. Can we agree on that at least? And by the way, phone lines are open again, 855-853-5227. I apologize about the difficulties with IQ Al Rassooli. Don't know exactly what happened there, but I can tell you that we've been trying to fix it ever since we went on the air. And so my apologies, but you know, we're doing the best we can, given the fact that, and by the way, if somebody wants to call and test the phone line again, I'd really appreciate it. I just rebooted the whole thing again. And again, I see audio going out, but I don't see, for whatever reason, I don't think people are hearing, and I think it might have to do with the phone system. So I, you know, assuming that that's what's going on here, I guess we could make a phone call. But I, you know, at this point in time, I almost feel like I should just cut my losses, and that we'll just go and do it off the cuff today. Okay, no audio being heard by the callers. Okay. Don't know why that would be happening. Please help me. Check it out. Yeah, I'm writing to my telephone guy. Thanks, JJ. All right. Send a nice terse email. See what happens. Doesn't that sound like fun? Okay. Let's try this. Just so we can say we did. We'll try it.
Hello?
Can you hear me, IQ?
Hello?
Yeah, this is what's been happening all day. I can't explain it. For whatever reason, Skype is not passing.
Hello?
Yeah, we're here. But you can't hear me. Yeah. Amazing. I you know, honestly, I don't know what to say. You know, the whole thing with Skype, and maybe what I should do is I should just, you know, maybe I should give them the benefit of the doubt here, and yeah, we'll see what we can do from our hopeless, helpless position here. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me, IQ?
Hello?
IQ, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, IQ?
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all we can do. Then, you know, we're right back where we started from. Let me go properties here on my sound system here. Line in. High definition audio device. Yes, that's good. Okay. All right. Okay. Everything there looks good. Everything there looks good. Huh. Isn't that funny? It's all, you know, what was it John Cameron Swayze said in once upon a time in a Timex commercial when, okay, well, that looks normal. When it was a Timex commercial that John Cameron Swayze was doing live on TV. This was the days before videotape. So what they did is they took a Timex wristwatch and they secured it to one blade of a propeller on an outboard boat motor that they had set up on a soundstage in a barrel filled with water. Okay? So they set up the boat motor with the prop on it, and they attached the Timex watch to the boat motor. They ran the boat motor, and then they take the watch off. So here they are doing this live. And what happened? Well, of course you can tell what happened, can't you? They run it live, and they go to take the watch off the outboard motor, and it's broken. It's not working. And John Cameron Swayze says, well, ladies and gentlemen, I assure you this worked in rehearsal. It worked in rehearsal. And it did. But it didn't work on the air. And isn't that a bummer? So here's what I can tell you. Everything today is in the exact same position as it was yesterday at this time. Yesterday at this time, we were able to take phone calls. Everything was working fine, and I haven't changed anything. And, you know, it would be one thing if I couldn't see that the audio was traveling from my microphone to the computer that is running the phone system. However, I do see that it is running fine. I can see it because, well, first of all, I can hear IQ saying, hello, hello. So I know that part's working. And I know that my voice is making it to the computer, and the computer only has one input device enabled. And that's, you know, taking the output of my mixer, the microphone output of my mixer. And so I can see it when I'm talking. I see the meters moving. So I know there's audio there. So what's the big deal? What changed overnight? And there's only one answer to that question. You want to know what changed overnight? Windows. Windows said, well, I want to update your computer now. I'm going to seize your computer now. Not going to give it back to you until I feel like it. And, you know, the rest is history. But I'm not one to complain. I never complain. You know me better than that. So anyway, here's the funny part is that some people out there think that if you earn $500,000 and you live in New York City, that somehow you are not in the middle class. And listen, folks, if my company is going to pay somebody $500,000 a year, then, you know, that means that that person is worth something to me. It means that person has a higher worth in terms of what they produce for my company than anybody else, and that's why they get paid what they get paid. But the government sticks its nose in. And see, this is class warfare at its ugliest. The government, run by, oh, well, let's call them what they are. It's an oligarchy, okay? The government steps in and says, now, wait a minute, it's not fair that you have more than Sally. Because, you know, Sally is a human being too. And so she deserves a lot of consideration for the hard work that she puts in for the company working in the copier room. Or wherever. You know what I mean. And so the question then becomes fairness. It's a question of what's fair. Yeah, the do-gooders out there that say it's no fair if somebody that's put in 25 or 30 years at a company and built their own worth up over that time, it's not fair that that person gets more money than the others do, at least in the minds of the small-minded people that think it's not fair when somebody profits from the labor of their own hands. Now, okay, Tennessee. Come on, Tennessee, come through for me. Tell me something good is happening. I see him on there. It's as plain as the nose on your face. You can see that the callers are there, but it's not passing audio. And I did send an email to my telephone guy, and I'm waiting to hear back. You know how emails are these days. It's sending emails is almost as slow as the U.S. mail these days. It really is. It's almost a joke nowadays. If I send somebody an email, they may or may not at some point in time get it, and I may or may not at some point in time hear back from them. But I don't know anybody that clings to their email inbox anymore. Do you? I mean, it's you can get just as far with an instant messenger of some sort, and the other part that's so much fun is having to go in and regularly weed out all the crap that lands in your inbox and your email. So, okay, I'm going to turn off the cameras here in just a minute because I need to move some things around. So now we switch to the view of the official J.J. McCartney Show mug, available right now on eBay.com while they last, limited supply. And we're gonna just move away for a moment. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back with more on the Wednesday edition of the J.J. McCartney Show. I know it's not what it was supposed to be, but that is, whose fault is that really? I don't know. But for whatever reason, telephony-wise, something has just gone terribly wrong. And there's nothing we can do about it. Except take this break, and we will come back with more sometime soon, really. If you are just tuning in, normally we have IQ Al Rassooli on with us, but for some reason today, we're unable to communicate two ways with him. So hang tough, everybody. We're going to hear a word from John Ratzenberger on American Made. And we'll continue with the J.J. McCartney Show in just a minute.
Manufacturing is to America what spinach is to Popeye. That's who we are. That's the strength of America. And the strength of manufacturing, obviously, are engineers. Someone's got to, design and figure out this thing before somebody can build a CNC machine or decide, what kind of hunk of metal to put in there. I mean, this is where it all starts.
I think that the university, I even think high schools and other universities should have one course that they build a boat or a car, something that's manageable and can be built within a year, that the senior class has to build, and they build all their subjects, whether it's math, history, geometry, whatever it is, they build it around the building of that vehicle.
Show up on time. In fact, show up early. Do your job. Be responsible for yourself and your family. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, these are very simple rules, but that's what built Western civilization. That's what brought us to the dance.
Well, I grew up in a factory town, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and that's one of the reasons I do my show, John Ratzenberger's Made in America, on the Travel Channel, because I understand that it's the people who get up every morning, go to work, and actually make something that's the basis, that's the foundation of our entire civilization. And I think the people in Washington have forgotten that. It seems like they passed legislation that actually undermines the very foundation on which we exist. So I've come here to New Hampshire to do town hall meetings, a town hall meeting here, this is the first one, and to get this on the presidential candidates' radar, to have the people of the town start asking questions about when are you going to start supporting American workers? What are you going to do about enforcing the trade agreements that are already in place? Mm-hmm. You hear the train going by. I love that sound. That's the sound of America working. My favorite sound in the world. Within 6 to 10 years, we're not going to have factories. If we don't have factories, we don't have workers. And they talk about us becoming a service society. No one's been able to explain what that even is. See, if you don't make something, then really that's actually where communities exist around. If you have a factory, they support the pizza place, they support the hardware store, the local tire shop. You're never going to see the name of a Chinese factory on your kid's Little League uniform. So the fabric of the entire community is effective. And when I've crossed the country with my show, I see that time after time after time, is that no one's paying attention to the very people that make it possible for us to get up in the morning and do what we do. There is no regulation in China. An article in the Boston paper yesterday, I was down there, and the apple juice you're feeding your kids, it's coming from China. It's a concentrate, reconstituted apple juice. There's only one company, according to the article, it's Martinelli's, that uses American apples. What happened? Do we forget how to grow apples in Washington or upper state New York? I don't think so. Yeah, it's a big danger. It's a very big danger, because all we're doing is feeding the dragon that one day is going to turn its head and come after us.
If you agree with JJ's conservative pillars for rescuing America's economy, stay tuned for more. If you are a liberal and think everything is okay, you can go pet your unicorn now.
There's a nasty little criminal on the loose.
It could be in your area. In fact, it could be in your backyard.
It's the Asian longhorn beetle.
Yeah, that's right. A beetle, the insect kind.
Black and white, long striped antenna. It's a tree killer.
This is one bad beetle. It's caused the destruction of thousands of trees already.
Thing is, we can't spot it now. It's gone undercover, inside the trees.
Cold weather drives it into hiding.
So now, it's a game of waiting it out.
What can you do to help?
You can be a beetle buster and protect the trees.
Don't move firewood, because the beetle, its larvae, its eggs, they could be in the wood.
If you move firewood, you could spread the beetle.
So buy it locally, burn it locally. Got it?
It's as simple as black and white. Don't move firewood.
Be a beetle buster. Learn more at beetlebusters.info.
That's beetlebusters.info. A message from the USDA.
The J.J. McCartney Show.
Okay, so you may not be a doctor, a scientist, or a medical researcher, but you can still put cancer out of business. Just put one foot in front of the other and join the Light the Night Walk to raise money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Family, friends, co-workers, anyone can do it. And when we all walk on this night, cancer runs. Because every dollar we raise helps LLS accelerate a potential cure and gives hope to cancer patients and their families. LLS has saved hundreds of thousands of lives since Light the Night took its first steps. Want to bring cancer to its knees? Vote with your feet. Join now at lightthenight.org. It's the easiest way to get from someday to today.
Okay, we are back, though not for long. We have the top of the hour break coming up, and then hour number 2 of this perplexing episode of the J.J. McCartney Show. My apologies for the technical issues, which we have absolutely no control over. It is an external problem, not here in the studio, but somewhere 1,000 miles away. And we will try and remedy it as best we can during the break. But my apologies. We had every intention of having IQ on with us both hours today. But sometimes the best laid plans, as they say. Stick around, folks. We'll bring you the latest headlines and commentary next hour. Stay with us.
I keep hearing from people. I want to tell you
my secret now. I see dead people.
Like dead serious, they look at me and they say, is he okay?
He's not. People on the inside say he keeps getting worse, mentally keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
The lack of intellectual ability is stunning.
Keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
Keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
I just don't think he's a well guy, period.
The behavior pattern that he is demonstrating right now
keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
You know, I kind of just want to dispense with political correctness for a bit and just say what everyone is thinking.
The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
This behavior is crazy.
Keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
It's so unbalanced. He is not well.
The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community, unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
He's just not well.
Unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
He has literally devolved to the point where there is concern about his health.
Keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
His ability to take in information and use it correctly. It's like a child.
Are you concerned about the president's health? The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
I think his family should be concerned about his health.
Keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
And I don't know how
the unwritten rule in the psychiatric community
how we withstand an unhinged presidency
that nobody diagnoses from afar.
I'm seriously worried about a person who would do this on a number of levels.
The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
Because he's not well and he's not attached to reality.
He's got his fingers on the button and he's tweeting about Hillary. It's time for Article 25.
Amendment 20. This
Amendment
25th Amendment.
Go! 25th Amendment. Let's do it. This looks like
the unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
The steps leading up to a total meltdown.
The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
Because this is not funny. This is really bad. Just for the record, we're all really nervous.
I have been sucking my thumb for 27 years. I only suck my thumb when I'm like tired or hungry or mad or sad.
What a dirty, filthy you got.
The unwritten rule in the psychiatric community that nobody diagnoses from afar.
Keeps getting worse. This is a man in decline.
I keep hearing from people.
I see dead people.
Like dead serious, they look at me and they say, is he okay? You have no idea what your words mean. And I can't pretend, sort of try and cover this fairly, put it in the veil of objectivity. You have no idea what your words mean and what you're doing to this country. He's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Who gets attacked and doesn't push back. There have been an outrageous number of personal attacks, not just to him, but to, frankly, everyone around him. This is a president who fights fire with fire, certainly will not be allowed to be bullied by liberal media and the liberal elites within the media or Hollywood or anywhere else. What's necessary is to push back against attacks on the president. I've seen far worse things come out of that show. Again, directed not just at the president, but everyone around him. Personal attacks, mean, hateful attacks. And again, this president isn't going to sit back and not push back, and he's going to fight fire with fire. And the president, again, isn't going to be somebody who's bullied and allows people himself and those around him to be personally attacked. Outrageous attacks that take place on that show day in, day out, not just at the president and not against his policies, not against things that he's pushing, but they're personal and they're not just directed at him, but again, everyone around him.
I think the heartland elected Donald Trump. I think there's a common sense out here that people don't get when they're in the city. They have blinders on. If we wreck middle America, if we wreck agriculture, it will filter through the whole economy and eventually the coasts will feel it. When I was a kid, we had 4 implement dealers, 3 or 4 car dealers. Don't got nothing like that.
Gary Steele works the same hay farm where he was born. He says the market for hay is dried up. Same for corn. Steele's putting his hope in Trump.
So far, so good. He's pissed everybody off. That's a good sign.
Live from the Nightside Radio Studios.
This is the JJ McCartney Show.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Coming to you from Nebraska by way of Alaska. Here's JJ McCartney.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, I keep coming back. We are live on the Wednesday show. We apologize, but telephony issues prevent us from having IQ on with us live today, or anybody else for that matter. I have no idea what the problem is, but it's, it was working 24 hours ago. We know that much. Stick around, folks. We'll bring you news and commentary. It's top rate, top flight stuff that you can't find anywhere else at any price, ladies and gentlemen. The JJ McCartney Show on this wacky Wednesday. Okay, here we go, folks. From our good friends at WorldNet Daily. Disney accused, wait for it, of morphing President Hillary into Trump. I mean, this is weird stuff. When news broke yesterday that Walt Disney World has added a President Trump robot to its Hall of Presidents, Twitter users vowed they had seen that eerily familiar face before, but not on the Donald. No, Disney's animatronic president clearly began as Hillary Clinton, they claimed. I see Hillary with a toupee, tweeted Jared Summers. I mean, am I wrong? Wouldn't surprise me if they had ordered Hillary, anticipating a win, and then slapped Trump hair on to save money. My God. Seriously, folks. I've seen much better work by people in the animatronics department at Disney. I mean, this thing is... just imagine something as ugly as it could possibly be. You know, obviously they were thinking Hillary all the way. They didn't think there was any possibility that the Trumpster could win. And when he did, all of a sudden they found themselves a shy one animatronic president. So what do? Well, hang on, I'll show you. For those of you watching on the YouTube channel today, and by the way, thanks for being with us. It's always good to have you with us. We're going to take a screen capture of this and let you have a look at these pictures of Disney's animatronic presidents. I mean, have you ever seen anything uglier than that? I mean, take a good look at that. They say that started out as this. Now let's take a closer look at this. Take a look at that, folks. Is there anything on that image on the left that looks remotely like our president? No. I mean, that's just as ugly as it gets. Now, you know, there obviously there's other things going on, but just for kicks, I'm going to pull this up here and see what we get. On the off chance that perhaps somewhere, somehow... Oh, look, a pop-up ad. How nice. Yeah, you go to play a video, it throws a pop-up ad at you. Isn't that wonderful? You know what? I'm looking at the world through cynical eyes today, and I apologize for that. I don't mean to. But at the same time, right now, we're just watching a video that's very slow in loading. And, I'm just amazed at how they've turned the web into this garbage that takes 2 minutes to load. It wipes out your memory on your computer. It gobbles up memory. And I mean, everything is advertising based. They're throwing ads at me constantly. Anytime I try to play a video that's embedded in a WorldNet Daily story, I may as well just go ahead and shut my computer off because it ties up so many resources. So you see that hourglass figure spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning? Yeah, I want to close all tabs. Thanks. It just never ceases to amaze me that they take the there's a lot of clickbait out there on the main pages of these sites, and WorldNet Daily is about the worst. Some of the reporters at WorldNet Daily I really like, but what they've done to their website is they have turned it into a prostitution center. Anybody that wants visibility on the web, they get in with these, just garbage clickbait companies, and they throw so much stuff on your screen that your browser winds up chewing up all of the memory on your computer. And this computer I'm on it's not a slouch. I mean, we're talking quad Xeon processors, 12 gigabytes of memory, and a solid-state hard drive. I mean, it's faster than fast. And yet you load up your browser and go to WorldNet Daily, it will absolutely fail. It doesn't give you a blue screen of death. What it does is it just chews up all the memory resources until everything just comes to a standstill. And that is why, at this point in time, I've chosen to close the browsers and simply have the camera on. But for as much money as you pay for these different pieces of software that work very well under optimum conditions, but then you're either running Chrome or you're running Microsoft Edge or you're running Mozilla's Firefox. And all of these browsers have just been so prostituted by advertisers. And the main websites, all they see is dollar signs. They don't give a crap about what the experience is like for the person that's trying to actually get news from the internet. And so as much as I've used WorldNet Daily in the past, I have lost any respect for what they're doing because they are destroying the experience that the user winds up having. And it's like, to hell with that. I would rather have a text-only website than to have to go through all this crap where they direct all this advertising right at you. You let them load up cookies on your computer. And then, of course, you go in and you take a look at something on eBay, and then all of a sudden, they're throwing ads at you on every website that you visit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Matrix. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the directed marketing scheme of the internet today that is turning it into a tool of espionage. It really is. You take a look at something on the screen, and the next thing you know, everywhere you go, they're throwing the same ads at you. I mean, it is a destructive thing. It really is. The internet used to be centered around the end user. And when I say that, I mean the experience, the enjoyment of the experience, the ease of the experience. But now basically what they've done is they've taken every web page and they've turned it into 15 or 20 different screens that will pop up. And if you go to WorldNet Daily and you make the mistake of saying, no, I want to look at something down further on the page, then all of a sudden the advertisements that were up high on the page move down to the lower right and occupy your screen. And seriously, you move down the web page, the content scrolls, but the advertising stays right there. And I'm sick of it. I think that any website should offer the option of ad-free for people that are willing to pay for it. And, seriously, have you noticed this? I mean, you go to jjmccartney.com, and you know what you'll find? You go to jjmccartney.com, what you'll find is a website that is all about JJ McCartney Show. I mean, we don't throw in rotten advertising that spoils your trip. I hate to, be self-promoting, but you go to the J.J. McCartney show, the first thing you're going to see is Charlie Brown and Linus. And then it'll scroll through a few pictures that we've put on the main screen there. And then if you scroll down a little bit, there's the player on today. You can listen on Spreaker. You can listen at jjmccartney.com. You scroll down a little farther, you can watch some of our old videos because we haven't it. Our website has been hacked. It's not just us, but everybody associated with Red State is contending with this hacking. And so so we haven't been able to update our blog in a few days. But still, if you scroll around, you'll find that we have embedded the show player that is, it's today's show live streaming. We've embedded the Spreaker player, which always brings you either the live show or the latest episode. And then there's the YouTube player right there, too. But, did you see anything on this page that doesn't have to do with the J.J. McCartney show? No, you do not. And why is that? It's because you mean more to us than to just give up sovereignty of our website. When you go to our website, you're not going to be bombarded with pop-up ads. You're not going to be bombarded with directed advertising because of something you looked at on eBay or Amazon or wherever else you went on the World Wide Web. See, the World Wide Web can turn into a noose around the necks of its users. If you have irresponsible websites, and, look, I'll call a spade. WorldNet Daily, clean up your act. Drudge, you too. When you go to a website expecting to see news and instead you're bombarded with advertising, what message is that sending? They don't give a crap about you. We, on the other hand, do. Now, we don't have the money to compete with a lot of these people, but you know what? It has never ever been about the money here. This program has never been a scheme to make me rich. Now, if you want to help out with expenses, that'd be great. We'd love that. But my website is all about my show, and it's about you. And I will never, ever sell you out. Okay, here's some good economic news, which the news media will surely tout for the new president, I'm sure. From Reuters, United States home sales increased more than expected in November, hitting their highest level in nearly 11 years. Now, the latest indication that housing was regaining momentum after almost stalling this year. The report today from the National Association of Realtors added to data ranging from the labor market to retail sales that have suggested the economy was ending 2017 on a strong note. The greater home sales will stoke the fires for stronger economic growth next year as consumers spend more to furnish their new homes with new appliances and furniture and all the decorations and trimmings. So says Chris Rupke, the chief economist for MUFG in New York. Existing home sales surged 5.6% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 5.81 million units last month, amid continued recovery in areas in the South ravaged by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, and solid gains in other parts of the country. Now, that was the highest level since December of 2006 and marked the third straight monthly rise. Economists had forecast home sales rising only 0.9% to a 5.52 million unit rate in November. Instead, the performance outperformed estimates in a very significant way. Existing home sales make up about 90% of U.S. home sales. They rose 3.8% on a year-on-year basis in November. Sales in the South, which accounts for almost half of the existing home sales market, increased 8.3% last month. Sales rose 6.7% in the Northeast and jumped 8.4% in the Midwest. They, however, fell 2.3% in the West, which has seen an acceleration in house price increases. While the housing market is expected to continue growing next year, there are concerns that a Republican overhaul of the U.S. tax code might hurt sales at the high end of the market. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please. The biggest overhaul of the tax system in more than 30 years, which could be signed into law by President Trump soon, will cap the deduction for mortgage interest at $750,000 in home loan value for residents purchased from January 1st, 2018 through December 31st of 2025. Now, the cap would revert to $1 million in loan value after December 31st of 2025. Saying we expect further increases in sales in 2018, although tax reform is likely to modestly reduce demand at the high end, as well as to lower prices for high-priced homes, says David Burson, chief economist at Nationwide in Columbus, Ohio. The report came on the heels of data this week showing home builder confidence vaulting to a near 18-and-a-half-year high in December, and single-family home building and permits rising in November to levels last seen in the third quarter of 2007. Housing is expected to contribute to economic growth in the fourth quarter after being a drag for 2 straight quarters. The PHLX housing index was trading higher today, outperforming a broadly flat stock market. The dollar slipped against a basket of currencies. Prices for U.S. Treasuries fell. Aw, gee. Now, despite the recent gains, home resales remain constrained by a chronic shortage of houses at the lower end of the market. That's keeping prices elevated and sidelining some first-time buyers who account for 29% of transactions last month. Economists and realtors say a 40% share of first-time buyers is needed for a robust housing market. The number of previously owned homes on the market fell 9.7% to 1.67 million units in November from a year ago, the second lowest reading since 1999. Housing inventory has dropped for 30 straight months on a year-by-year basis. At November's sales pace, it would take a record low 3.4 months to exhaust the current inventory. That's down 3.9 months, rather down from 3.9 months in October. 6-month supply is viewed as a healthy balance between supply and demand. With supply tightening, the median house price increased 5.8% from 1 year ago to $248,000 in November. Now, that was the 69th consecutive month of year-on-year price gains. In contrast, annual wage growth has struggled to break above 2.9% since the 2007-2008 recession. The government reported yesterday that groundbreaking on single-family homes, which account for the largest share of the housing market, had jumped 5.3% in November to the highest level since September of 2007. Housing completions continued to lag at a rate of 1.116 million units. Realtors estimate that the housing starts and completions rates that are needed to be in a range of 1.5 to 1.6 million units per month to plug the inventory gap. So obviously there's room for more manufacturing of homes. And I think we will see that happen. I don't think there's any way that this economy is going to slow down in the first half of 2018. And obviously the people that own homes right now, especially in some of these areas where demand is going up, you're seeing home prices increase. And that's a good thing. I mean, it really is. And I think that many people are under the mistaken impression that they can afford a house. But I think in many ways, I mean, we're seeing, I think some real proof that housing starts, and the housing market is really sitting high right now. I mean, as far as it's a seller's market, and I mean, to me, that's a very significant thing. It really is. It is quite significant, and we have seen, I think, a significant increase in interest. Especially for people, like I say, if you've owned your home for a while, then you probably have seen a significant increase in its value. And of course, that's a double-edged sword. First, there's the value of the home that goes up, and that's good. Now, the other side of that coin is what it does to your property taxes every year. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. But for those folks out there that, if you've been frustrated by the market, if you've been frustrated by the prices, I mean, you have to accept the fact that it costs what it costs. When I was growing up, I never imagined that we would ever purchase a home that would be worth as much as our home is worth now. I couldn't have imagined. I said, what would we need a home like that for? But when you take into account the inflation, the devaluation of the currency, all these other things, then what you're left with is that it costs what it costs. I asked somebody, just out of curiosity, I said, how much do you think a loaf of bread is worth? And they hemmed and I don't know. If you took all the ingredients and you figured out, it's probably worth about 75 cents. I looked at them, and you know what I said? I said, you're wrong. Do you know what a loaf of bread is worth? Now, for you folks out there that are watching on the YouTube channel, by the way, thanks for watching. You know what a loaf of bread is worth today? Some people say, well, it's worth the raw ingredients, 75 cents. No. You know what a loaf of bread is worth today? I'll tell you. A loaf of bread is worth whatever the consumer is willing to pay for it. That's the bottom line. A loaf of bread is worth whatever the consumer is willing to pay for it. And people need to understand that, the value of property changes over time, and so does the value of currency. Now, the value of currency, let's take a look at a loaf of bread. Let's say you pay $2.75 for the loaf of bread you want. Now, you take it out of the store, into the cart, into your vehicle, and you take it home. When that loaf of bread is sitting on your countertop and you still haven't opened it yet, you know what it's worth? Well, no, it's not worth what you paid for it, because you can't take it and resell it for that. And so, it's the value of it depends on how hungry you are, what you intend to do with the bread. Now, the value of anything you buy is going to go down as time goes by. If you leave the bread sitting for too long, it gets moldy, and then how much is it worth? Well, there you go. Sad reality of life, my friends. Costs will change over your lifetime. Nobody will feel good about it, but you can't change. You can't shake your fist at the prices and say, well, I never would have paid that when I was 25. Well, you're not 25 anymore. I remember when I went looking for an apartment when I was a young lad living in Anchorage, Alaska by myself. And I found a one-bedroom apartment And I think I paid $425 or $450 a month. Might have been $525 for my rent there. It wasn't in the best neighborhood, but it wasn't bad at the time. And, I thought, well, $525 a month, that's a big, big part of my take-home pay. Going to have to really watch my pennies. But at the time, it was worth it. And then, I remember when I bought my first home, tried to make the best deal we could. I think we were paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $625 a month for our house payment, which at the time was pretty decent. As time goes by, you move from place to place to place. Your payments go up. You don't really think too much about it. You just go with the flow. But, when you look at the price of housing today in these United States, it's as relative as it's ever been. It's not a matter of calculating what everything would cost to replace. It's a matter of calculating what somebody is willing to pay today for the whole thing. It's not as complicated as some people try to make it. But the bottom line is this. As long as the population continues to grow and the housing lags behind a little bit in catching up, property values will continue to rise. Now, does that mean that everybody's going to be rich? Well, no, but it certainly doesn't bode poorly for the economy, does it? You take a home that you bought, 15 years ago. Suppose you paid, $80,000, $85,000 for a home 15 years ago. And then one day you wake up, and all of a sudden, some people out there are willing to pay as much as $200,000 for the same home. So how did that happen? Well, it's just a matter of doing the arithmetic. Supply is here, demand is here. So it makes sense that the values will go up and up and up as long as there is a limited supply. There was a time, especially in some areas I lived in, where developers overdeveloped and all of a sudden the prices went sliding downward. And that really, for existing homeowners, when all of a sudden there's new construction all around you, that causes your property value to go down. So your equity position might be different than it was yesterday. But it also could have caused your property values to go down in such a way that your property taxes go down. So many different things can cause you to, look at the glass as half full or half empty. But at the last time I checked, the economy is a heck of a lot better than people thought it was going to be in the first year of the Trump presidency. And for those people that are unwilling to give that man credit for doing this almost single-handedly with no support from the party bosses, I think that Donald Trump has done an extraordinary job, economically speaking. We'll come back with more in just a minute. Phone lines are down, so there's no sense in giving you the number today, but we hope to have that situation fixed soon. Take a break. We'll come back with more on the Wednesday edition of the J.J. McCartney Show, 5 days away from Christmas Day. And to all of you, Merry Christmas from the McCartney household. And I certainly hope you enjoy your holiday with your family and friends. Stick around. We got more to come. Back in a minute.
The J.J. McCartney Show.
Hey, everybody. J.J. McCartney here. It's not very often that I get excited about a product, but I am sure excited about this one. I'm talking, of course, about MyPillow.com. These pillows are made in the USA. They come with a 60-day comfort guarantee and a 10-year warranty. They are machine washable and dryable. They come with a patented interlocking fill. It keeps you cool at night, and it will not go flat. Go to MyPillow.com. Click the Radio Listeners Special tab and use promo code JJMC to get 2 premium king or queen size pillows and 2 additional go anywhere travel pillows for one special price and free shipping. That's mypillow.com, promo code JJMC, or call 800-953-6613. That's 800-953-6613. mypillow.com, promo code JJMC.
But we refuse to throw in the towel and do nothing. We refuse to let Detroit go bankrupt. I bet on American workers and American ingenuity. 3 years later, that bet is paying off in a big way.
He gave me a call this afternoon to tell me that the decision had been made to file for Chapter 9.
So the next time you see one of those brand new 2013 models on TV or on the lot, think about how far we've come together.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
When it's time to get away, you can always find solace in the welcome arms of your friend Detroit, where the last thing anybody finds is a job, and the furthest thing from anyone's mind is responsibility, where its citizens greet you with a warm hello and toothless meth grins, where the unemployment is so high that its proud citizens can enjoy enough time to slow down as they contribute to the country's worst murder rate, a place where 7 out of 10 of those murders go completely unsolved, and if the gangs don't get you, the roaming packs of wild dogs will. It's a city that's eating itself alive and been entirely run by Democrats and unions since 1961, a crystal ball for the future of the country in a city that's as likely to change as its students are to graduate high school. You can always count on it to be waiting for you with one hand out and the other ready to shoot you in the spleen. A place that's pure Detroit.
It's 3 p.m. For 50 million kids across America, school's out. And for a third of these kids, they're out on their own. Out with nothing to do and nowhere to go. Gives a whole new meaning to the 3 o'clock bell, doesn't it? It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org.
The J.J. McCartney Show. He didn't invent conservatism, he just perfected it. More to come after the break.
On the next episode of Recipes for Disaster.
I'm making beef sliders for my friend Sandy. Nana taught me to always pull meat off the grill early so it's extra juicy.
Use a food thermometer to ensure ground beef is 160 degrees, or you could make people really sick. Sandy didn't think twice about the slider she ate until yoga class, when a nasty case of food poisoning turned her downward-facing dog into upward-moving lunch. Watch Recipes for Disaster at foodsafety.gov and learn the steps Maria unwittingly leaves out. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
Okay, we are back on the J.J. McCartney Show. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, believe it or not, not only do I do my troubleshooting on the air live, the answer I get back from my phone guy is, well, you might want to check and make sure your audio is going through your computer. I'm like, yeah, I did that live on the air. I'm a little surprised, to be honest, that in this day and time, here's what I'm going to do. Very simply, I'm going to dial my own number here, 855-853-5227. And I'm going to call myself, and then I'm going to hold the phone up to my ear. Yeah, I'm telling the host what I want to talk about, and then I'm going to press the pound key. There we go. Okay. I am now in the queue. And sure enough, I do not hear myself talking to me in the queue. However, if I go over to my trusty phone system over here, and I look at preferences, and I look at audio, everything I see looks like it's copacetic. Okay, wait, let's do that. System default and system default. Yeah, let's try that. Hello, 1212. It's still not hearing anything. Who knows? Who knows who is controlling the all the dials over at Flow Route? I don't know. I really don't. But I just know that when I look at my computer's audio input, and this will be instructive for any of you folks out there that ever want to host your own show. You take a look, and yeah, that's interesting. It was there before, and now it's not. Isn't that something? Let's look at the old trusty eyeball trick here. Okay, well, go figure. Who knows why these things work sometimes, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes it's just fickle. I can't explain it. I really can't. Yeah, now it's not passing the audio, even though we're telling it to. So let's do that. We'll do that. We'll close all that down. Okay, line in, high definition audio. Okay. All right. I'll tell you something, folks. It doesn't get any more confusing than this. The computers, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't talk to them nicely, they rebel against you. In the middle of the night, when you think that when you think everything is good, let me go to the device manager. There we go. We never want to take our computers for granted because they just might, cough up an electronic hairball. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. Let's see. We're going to disable that device. I'm going to say yes to that. And then we're going to go right back and enable that device. Okay? So we just did that. Okay, now we've gone through the machinations of enabling this device. And so now if we close this app altogether, and we'll do this the old-fashioned way. We'll first hang up that. Okay? We'll close that. Yeah, this, ladies and gentlemen, is high-tech stuff. It really is. I know it's not very interesting, but then again, neither are housing prices. Unless you've got a, dog in the hunt, in which case it might be very important to you. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to open up my telephone stuff again. I'm going to go to my preferences again and go to audio settings. Okay. Okay, hang on. First, I have to do one more thing here. There we go. Let's see. Playback. Okay, high definition. Okay, that should be there. And we disable that. Okay. All right. All right. So then I'll reboot the computer again. That always seems to work, right? Give it the old three-finger salute, as they like to say. This is the kind of troubleshooting we're apt to do when somebody does, somebody says, hey, have you checked the audio lately on your computer? I'm like, yeah, kind of, I learned to do that a long time ago. A long time ago. Even, back when I was in school, we didn't have computers. But it was a long time ago. But but believe it or not, that the concept of the computer is not something that I find terribly confusing, except when they choose not to behave themselves. In which case I find it, a little more relevant. But let's be honest, folks. Everybody knows this isn't smoke and mirrors, right? This is simple logic that we apply. It's it's altogether simple. I mean, it's... Oh, of course. I should know better than to trust the... Yeah, that's funny. That's just real dang funny right there. There we go. Okay, we have audio there. That makes sense. So I'm literally watching the audio path going to my computer. And I'm going to show you what I'm looking at so that you can see it as well. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just real simple, basic electronic troubleshooting 101. You see that right there? Okay, do you see the flashing lights when I'm talking? Okay, this is a little mixer I use to feed the audio into the computer. And you see when I talk, the lights, they're blinking. Das blinking lights, as they say in Germany. So we watch the blinking lights, and it tells us there's audio there. And then we have these other wires that go actually to the input on the computer. Okay? And as I go here, okay, right-click there, go to Recording Devices, and we don't see any. Well, what do you know about that? Playback devices, yeah, that's there. Okay. But I need recording devices. So I go to my control panel. Makes sense, right? Okay, everybody following along? And we're going to go to the control panel. We're going to open up the device manager. And this is what I loathe about Windows, is they have taken something that should be so simple, and they have made it much more complicated than it needs to be. And there was a time when you could take a look at something like this, and the solution was very easy to see. Okay, here we go. Speakers. Okay, that's enabled. So now I go down to sound cards, sound, video, and game controllers, high definition audio device, and I want to, let's see, I'm going to update the driver. Let's do that. Search automatically. Okay, we're searching automatically for drivers. This is one of the things about Windows that I kind of thought at one time was cool, was that it allows you to search for drivers for your devices. Now, while that's happening, because I deserve this, yeah, I'm going to grab a drink. No, it's not alcoholic. That's much better, thank you. Okay, so it's searching online for drivers. This is like watching paint dry. I know. Believe me, I do. I understand completely. And, if you guys have, places you need to be, things you need to do, I mean, I cannot tell you how sorry I am that we were unable to bring IQ today. I mean, was all set for a great conversation, and then, all of a sudden, poof, nothing works. And it's a bit of a, when I say embarrassment, it's just from the standpoint that we take pride in the technical qualities of this show. I mean, audio-wise, it sounds about as good as anything you'll find out there. And that's very important to us. But it seems like sometimes you make the best plans, and then all of a sudden somebody mucks them up for you. You know what I mean? You make all these arrangements to make sure that you're doing everything right. And I even double check things. Okay? Okay, the best drivers for your device are already installed. Okay. Okay, so I close that. And let's see. Okay, that's I guess that's what it is. Okay? So let me do this. I'm going to take another break because, I have that option today. We're going to come back with more. I promise you we'll have this thing nailed by the time, by the time primetime television is on tonight. We'll be all over this. We'll be back.
If you agree with JJ's conservative pillars for rescuing America's economy, stay tuned for more. If you are a liberal and think everything is okay, you can go pet your unicorn now.
90% of the jobs that are available right now require skill. They don't require a diploma. You're not buying an education. 90% of the jobs that are available right now require skill. They don't require a diploma. You're not buying an education. You're buying a diploma.
Right.
The education, look, Matt Damon said it in Good Will Hunting. One day you Harvard boys are going to figure out that $150,000 you spent is available at the Boston Public Library. But that's not me saying don't go to college. I'm saying to start your life, $150,000 in the hole, $80,000 in the hole, with your art history major or your poli-sci or your Mideastern studies, and not be able to find work in that career. That's why you got $1 trillion in debt. These kids can't find a job that they've been trained for, and the expectation is it should be waiting for me. Micro-macro is an idea that big, giant ideas can only be solved by approaching the problem from every possible angle, no matter how big or small or oblique. And so I'm not going to close the skills gap. I'm not going to change the way the country feels about education or about skilled labor. But I'm going to talk about it. The only trade I have worth a damn is what we're doing right now. This is what I do, And so regarding the skills gap, for instance, I'll go to the Fortune 500, and I have. I'm lucky. I have some great partners. Caterpillar has a vested interest in seeing the skills gap close because technical recruitment is a giant problem. There are dealerships all around the country now with openings available in heavy equipment repair. 3-year good heavy equipment repair technicians making $120,000 a year. They can't fill them. Okay, they can't film. So that's a big problem, and that's a big macro solution. Engage one of the global bellwether stocks in my little endeavor. At the same time, though, I believe to be authentic, I need to do something personal. So I sell the crap in my garage from Dirty Jobs. It's literally called crap. Collectibles, rare and precious. And so once a week I'll sit down with some tired old memento and I'll channel my first job in TV, which was on the QVC cable shopping network, and I'll sell it and I'll raise money on eBay, and we've raised $30,000, $40,000 over the months doing this little thing, and at the same time working with big companies. With trade schools, you'll love this. Some of the best schools in the country you've never heard of. They're these for-profit trade schools with 85%, 90% placement rate. I know, for-profit. It's a terrible thing, right? But unlike a lot of big universities, they have to disclose everything. So I went and looked at a few, because I really wanted to know how, for instance, is Midwest Technical Institute helping train more welders, which is one of the great shortages in the country right now. I couldn't believe what I saw. These guys are amazing. They've got half a dozen campuses. Nobody's heard of them. And they're really fighting this Sisyphean task to get guidance counselors to tell students to consider this. So I said, maybe we can help each other. Why don't we give away scholarships specifically for your school, but rather than approach it from an academic or an athletic or a talent or a need-based criteria, why don't we make it about work ethic? Let's reward kids who, A, are willing to learn a new trade, a useful skill, and B, prove that they're willing to get up early, stay late, and volunteer for every crappy task there is. Let's reward the thing we want to encourage. Long story short, we raised $800,000 for work ethic scholarships through this one school. The next school came, Tulsa Welding School, and a refrigeration school in Arizona. They're lining up because somebody now is talking not just about their school, but about their industry. The only people talking about this industry in general, it's labor. Well, labor and work are different things. We're trying to celebrate work. Work is the thing you admire. Labor is the thing you have to do. Because really, think about it. This whole topic always boils down to management versus workers. The company versus the worker, the blue, the white collar, right? Enough with the color of collars. The way to talk about work is through the context of, what are you addicted to? Are you addicted to smooth roads, smooth runways, cheap electricity, indoor plumbing? I am. So if you share my addiction to the fruits of skilled labor, you've got skin in this game, right? And so I think if you start to engage a bigger hunk of people, not just management, not just labor, but if you really start to have a conversation about work and education, about affordability, everybody can take a micro, macro look at this thing. Okay. Whether it's a sweat pledge or the crap in your garage.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
From the wind-powered Nightside Radio Studios, this is the J.J. McCartney Show.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. It's like tiny nails in the air poke my lungs. I start to cough. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital.
Today, 1 out of 13 children suffer from some form of asthma, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all emergency room visits.
I feel like I'm choking. It's kind of like an elephant is on my chest. A little whistle sound comes out when I breathe.
But while your child may suffer from asthma, asthma doesn't have to make your child suffer. There are simple ways you can prevent your child's next attack. To learn more, log on to www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many.
I feel like a fish with no water.
Brought to you by the EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And, it's not very many times during the show that I look up at the clock and I realize that I'm still thinking that we have a show to do and it's already over. Amazing. Tomorrow is Thursday. I can't tell you what to expect from tomorrow. All I can tell you is that it won't be like today. I promise that. My apologies to those of you expecting IQ Al Rassooli today. We'll try again tomorrow. That's all we can ever do. And I hope that all of you are preparing to have the best Christmas ever. You guys, I can't tell you what you mean to me. And I thank you for listening. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your sympathy on some days like today. I really do. And I want to thank all of you for sharing a little time with us here in these time-space continuum at the Nightside Radio Studios, which are under reconstruction. But it was all working yesterday. I just don't get it, folks. What went wrong? Who knows? Who cares? We'll do it all over again tomorrow. Until then, my friends, do me this favor, would you? Say a prayer so that we can get this thing working right and not have to spend another arm and a leg, because we're running out of arms and legs, quite honestly. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you on Thursday's program. In the meantime, I would like for you all to do this. Be good to yourselves, and if you possibly can, be good to someone else. And remember, we'll win in the end because there are more of us than there are of them. Because God is with us. And because we are all in this thing together. Now, you kids, be nice, not naughty. Because in a few days comes the payoff. Stick around, folks. We'll do it all over again tomorrow, Thursday. Until then, God bless everybody. Have a great Wednesday. See you tomorrow.